Welcome back to the workshop, everybody. So glad you could be with me here today. Your good friend Walter at the workbench. Well, what you see in front of you are three number 6 planes, also known as Fore planes. And you know that saying, experience is the best teacher? Well, there should be some more to that. Like, it's even better when it's somebody else's experience. So, I am giving my experience with these planes to you to help you not do certain things. And I'm going to give you some numbers just for reference, but yeah. I bought these 3 planes in the rough, sight unseen except from pictures, for $150. Okay? This was the one that I was hoping to make out really well with, but I was hoping to make bench users out of all of them and turn around and sell 2 of them to recoup the $150, and then I'll just write off the rest of the materials and labor, and I'd have 1 left to put in my toolkit. So what do we have here? This is a KK6. KK6 is a keen cutter number 6. As you can see, it has lighter weight castings, and I would call this a handyman, a hobbyist, a hardware store value plane. It does work. It works well. However, because the casting is thinner, it can flex. So you have to be just a little careful in using it, because you can create a belly when you're jointing. I'm not showing you face planing because, you know, some people hate me for that, but it's just a lot easier for me to do the edge here, and I have my bench open, and we can talk about face planing in other videos, which I already have. So I don't know the age of this. I'm going to guess it's pushing 100 years old. Maybe in the 70s, 80s, 70, 80 year range. So I didn't do a lot of cleaning on this. I gave it a quick wipe down with some oil, got the grease and gunk and everything off of it, and I did repair a crack in the tote. Sanded it back and re-oiled it. That's all I did to this. Oh, no, sorry. I did take it to some sandpaper to see how flat the sole really is, and it's not terrible. It could use a little tuning here. See, because it's not hitting the wood here. And there's a hollow here. That hollow, I'm not worried about it, but it's right here. It should really be touching. But it's not absolutely horrible. I'd use this all day long. And when I was younger, if this was all I had, I would be excited because I'd be making shavings all day long. Okay? So, no snobs here, no saying what is good or bad, it's just they're different. So the next one I want to talk about is this one. This is 1930-ish. 33 to 39. The knob and the tote were painted black originally. It doesn't have the brass fittings on the screw tops. It's a chrome-plated steel bolt. And this one also doesn't have that screw adjuster behind the frog, which I don't care. That doesn't bother me at all. I never use them. So it has a laminated steel blade, which I talked about in the last video about grinding. That's this blade. and I did tap it out. When I say tap it out, I use the nylon face on my mallet and a flat piece of MDF, and anywhere where it's not flat and straight, I will tap it out until it lays perfectly flat. Then, if I need to, we'll talk about this in a separate video one day, I can mold the front end of the blade so that I will get a straighter cutting edge. But we'll talk about that another time. It's a risky technique. You can break your blade, so I don't want to talk about it unless I can dedicate time to it. All right. This one, and by the way, this one is cutting absolutely perfect. Absolutely perfect. I can take massively thick shavings, or I can back it down and take whisper thin. Okay? I can take some of those gossamer wing shavings. So this one's working out real well. Now this one was the one I was hoping would be my golden child. As you see, it is performing perfectly, as long as I stay in the middle of the plane. When I cleaned this up, took it all apart, cleaned it up, this one has rosewood knob, rosewood tote. The rosewood tote was cracked, so I made the repair, cleaned it up, sanded it, and I refinished the rosewood knob and tote. Well, to my dismay, it had a crack over here in the cast iron. And some of you have seen the pictures of that, the before shots. So I thought one was starting here as well. Took the two planes to my machinist. He drilled out a hole behind the cracks to stop the crack, and then he gouged out the metal and silver soldered it, and then he ground the sole flat to within less than a half a thousandth. So it performs very well. And why did I say as long as I stay in the middle of the plane? Well, when I put this one all back together, and I thought the frog was sitting perfect, there might have been a gap of a thousandth or two, I don't know. But when I put the frog back in and I lightly tightened it down, this crack opened up again. So from this corner to this corner, this is high now by a few thousandths. And so I have to find a way to reflatten this area here without messing up the whole sole. And I don't want to spend the time and money to drive all the way back up to my machinist. But see, part of the problem too is when he gouged this out, the silver solder didn't fill these areas back in. So here too, if this was the only plane that I had, I'd be excited and I'd use it. So we'll see what happens with that, and I may, if I'm up in the area, I may actually bring it up and show it to him and see if there's something else we can do to fix that. If not, I'm not spending any more money on it. I've got $150 tied up in these planes from the raw cost. Then I have the silver solder work, the machining of the soles and cheeks of both of these, sandblasting of these, the refinishing of the knobs and totes, the repairs, and my time. So that means that if I were to give this plane away, the KK6, or put it on eBay for 10 bucks, and if I took this one apart and sold the knob, the screw, the tote, the cap iron, the chip breaker, and the blade, and the frog, if I sold all that stuff separately, I might get 20 or 30 bucks. So I might have 40 or 50 bucks tied up there. That means this plane cost me $200. Yeah, I could have just as well ordered a Lee Nielsen for what, $375? Or Veritas? Or even drop down to a Luban or Wood River? So the experience I'm sharing with you is sometimes it's not the money. But also, these will be the last planes I ever restore. I have other things I want to do, like make planes. There's one I have in my mind. There are things that I want to make for planes, not F-O-R-E, but F-O-R. There's a blade, and then there's an attachment, and there's a chip breaker I'd like to get someone to manufacture, because I think it would help you all. And so I don't have time to restore tools anymore. I have what I need to do my work, and unless somebody comes to my place and brings a plane and says, hey, can you help me with this? Excuse me. I'm not going to do any more on my own, for myself, for resale or anything like that. I've learned all I need to learn, and especially with this one, with the silver solder, it was a gamble. I've seen it done, I've heard it done, I asked my machinist's opinion, and it ended up failing. So that's life, you know. You sometimes make decisions based on an educated guess, and it doesn't work out. So, this is the one that's going to stay in the toolkit for a while, until a better one comes along that I build myself. I'm trying to figure out how to build a wooden body plane that's sort of a hybrid between what's known as an infill plane, excuse me, a cast iron plane, and a wood plane. I don't want to build an infill. I know how to build wood body planes, but if I could only add, you know, a 1/8 inch to 3/16 of stainless steel, that would be fun, to the bottom of the wood. That would give me more weight, that would give me the performance of the metal, but I'd still have a wood body plane that I can make myself. So that's one of the ideas I have. Or I'm just going to go and just build woodies. That's all. Just build myself some woodies and stay there for the rest of my life and teach others how to do it. I did get something interesting in the mail. I bought, most of you know, but some don't, I am a Hawk Tools dealer. So if you ever need replacement blades, I only sell the Hawk 01 tool steel. I don't get involved in A2 or any other funky steels. I stay with what traditionally worked, and I just stayed there. Ron Hawk's blades are just sublime. Well, I bought one of his Krenov blade sets that has a curved edge. Some people call it cambered. And it's a 6-inch radius, I believe. And I'm going to make a scrub plane and see how that works. It's also can be used to make a curved bottom plane for doing coopered doors and other rounded work, long bench seats. and such. But I have so many more things to do that restoring planes, I'd rather answer your questions than restore any more planes. It's something that was fun, and I enjoyed the learning process. How's that for a shaving? You see that? Excuse me. Onwards and upwards. Hey, listen. If you found something interesting, educational, or just entertaining here today, give it the old thumbs up. If you have any questions, put it down in the comments section. And share the video with others, and don't forget to subscribe. And head out to your shop. Go make some shavings. Walter out.